Good afternoon, good morning, or good night to whoever is watching. My name is Rodrick Samuels, and we are here today with the 2024 Professional Beauty Association Educator of the Year nominees. I'm so elated and I'm so happy to be able to host this event. And just so happy to be a part of this union and also just getting to kind of pick the brains of our nominees for this year. So right now, I want to pass it over to Steve Gomez, who put this all together. But before then, let's give Steve a round of applause for putting this whole thing together. Been so awesome and so nice putting it all together. So Steve, you take it away, sir, and then I'll get started.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody who is going to be watching this. I'm excited and honored to share some time with these amazing human beings that you see on the screen. We're all blessed to be in what I've always believed to be the most amazing industry that you ever could choose to be a part of, and for all of us to be nominated as a finalist for Educator of the Year is such a high honor and such a neat thing. I just thought it would be a neat idea to just get us all together and kick the can around about how important education is, how important it is for us as educators to continue to grow ourselves, and just, share the moment together and give back as a community to you. So that was kind of the thought process around this. So thank you to Jalia, Kia, Leza, and obviously Nubia, who is not with us at the moment, for gifting your time and being with us. Back to you, Rodrick.
All right, perfect, perfect. Thank you guys again for joining us. Such a talented group of individuals. And if I can just say this right now, Steve, of course, you were kind of outnumbered, but I like the fact that we have such strong, powerful, vibrant, brilliant women
Amen.
as being nominated for this year's award. Unfortunately, I'm very sexist when it comes to things like this. I know that we work in an industry that's driven by men, but behind those men are very, very strong women. And not just the women aspect, Steve, but just the diversity and inclusivity that we see through this is very, very awesome too. So I'm just really, really excited about that. So and I want to make sure I pronounce this correct because I messed up her name earlier. And it is
Leza.
Leza. Leza, how are you today, sweetheart?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here with all of you guys. Such
Well,
an honor.
I'm happy that you're here now because I can't mess up your name. And I know I know that you are a little pressed for time, so we want to start off with you. May I ask, tell us who you are, tell us where we can find you on all your social media platforms, but what led you to become an educator and what does that mean to you?
That's such a good question. And I always say it's the best question because it's been a whole long process. I started with really, really humble beginnings from cleaning a salon to become an associate, to become kind of a little bit of the education helper or manager. At that time, I couldn't afford too much education. So I was consuming a lot of education, right? Just because I was organizing the space. I was bringing the chairs in, the lunch, picking up the educators from the airport. So I got exposed a lot to education and always in myself, I've been curious. I'm like, always wonder why. Going to beauty school, I graduated back in 2008. I graduated, I was extremely happy, but I had a really tough time on beauty school. Like I knew that I had to come out of beauty school and continue my education. It was like a very small, new school. I didn't speak English well back then. So I would finish my every day at the class and I would have to go home and go through the books and do the whole thing again because I couldn't understand half, right? So I always was so drawn to education due to that. It's just I couldn't just catch up things just like anybody, like just listening. I had to like go deep and analyze and understand the chemistry, like all of that. And I feel like the education found me, like hair found me. This is kind of my second career. I never thought that I would be in hair or in education, never in my life. But here I am. Like I say, I've been doing hair since 2008, and I create my own education back in 2016. I was intrigued on how I couldn't get a beautiful, safe service for my hair. Back then, even when I moved to America back in 2004, I remember just going to salons and I never was able to wear my hair natural how I wanted.
Sure.
Many experience. I can tell you tons. I can be talking for 20 minutes, how many salons I walk, and I couldn't even get a shampoo. They would look at me like, who are you? Like, we don't even touch people like you here, you know? And of course, that led me to being exposed to a different demographic when I was working in a salon that I started. And I was the only person looking like me, doing the hair that I was doing. So I have to make sure that I was strong enough to go past that, right? So that's the whole education came to me. I love what I do, have so much passion because it came from my own experience and my stories. And now I'm so glad to be able to share what I know with others and to be in spaces where I feel that I can empower individuals to be more, not only inclusive, but just to have the knowledge to give great services.
You know, I think that's super awesome. You know, just your story in itself is very, very inspiring. And I hope that the people that are watching and listening along can actually get inspiration from this too. Most of us who started off in education, we come from very, very humble beginnings, but it's amazing how the universe shifts and puts us in position to where we actually need to be. I know that you have to leave us, but I do have one question for you, and then I'm going to go back to Kia, Jalia, and Steve with our questions about the education. But on the fun side of things, are you ready for this question?
Always.
All right, homegirl, listen, if you were a shampoo, would you be extra volume or deep moisturizing?
I will be volume.
Okay, paint the picture, make it clear for us. Why volume?
Volume because I like to embrace who I am, and I'm volume. I'm loud, I express myself how it is, and I'm not apologetic about it. So I'd rather be volume and seen than moisturize.
I love that. Let's give her some snaps,
The
everybody.
stuff can come later.
Yes.
By the way, I just emailed my meeting and I told them that I was a little late, just in case you don't have to rush whatever you are doing.
Yay.
Well, listen, we'll hang out with us for a little bit, and we'll go right from it. So since we're already on this fun question, we'll get back to the serious stuff. Kia, homegirl, Charleston, South Carolina, what's up? Would you be extra volume or deep moisturizing?
That's a good question. And I love it because I could go either way, right? I think I'm a little bit of both or a lot of both just at different times, right? So I can be super, super deep about it, extra moisturizing, getting in the middle and the thick of things, but I'm also very loud. Like, you know, Lisa said, I'm very voluminous with it, very unapologetic, very strong, and just, you know, very visible in that space. Like you're going to see and hear from me. So it's a little bit of both. If you tune in into the volume, you can still get moisturized.
Come on. Ooh, I love that. I love that. All right, Jalia, homegirl, extra volume or deep moisturizing? Let us have it.
I would have to say deep moisturizing.
Okay, paint the picture, make it clear for us.
So the reason that I picked deep moisturizing is because I don't believe in ash. Like I despise ashiness in every sense, like in the literal sense and in the figurative sense. I need to be well moisturized. And with that, you know, sometimes people don't like to wear moisturizer because it rubs them the wrong way. So I just prefer to be a moisturized type of individual.
That's super fair. Now, Steve, of course, you don't do hair, sir. So, I wanted to frame another question for you, with your permission, of course.
But I would have answered that. It's too thin to win.
And listen, it wasn't even supposed to rhyme, but it did. So that's awesome. All right.
Please.
So Steve, This is going to be fantastic, by the way. Um,
Great.
so Steve, you and I, we've had conversations several times about our love and our passion about the industry. Where do you feel like the state of our industry is in right now as far as business coaching? And what's one of the main things that you intend to do to solve those problems?
Ooh, man. Wow. I need to pour another cup of coffee and put something strong in it to answer that, my
I was about to
friend.
say, as long as you didn't say whiskey, it's a little too early for some people, though, Steve.
It is, it is. I think that what I'm really excited about is if I go back to my beginnings, which, it's funny, we all have humble beginnings. And I was listening to Leiza's story. Leiza, I also cleaned the shop as a kid, and came from very humble beginnings. And I stuttered so bad as a kid, I couldn't even put sentences together. So if you were to ask me that, or if you were to have me look in a crystal ball and tell you what I've been doing with my life, I would have told you you were crazy. And back when I started as a business coach, working with the company I worked with, there was maybe 4 of us on the circuit. Like I can remember going back to Premier Orlando and I've been going to that show since its inception. And there was like 4 of us in the business coaching circuit. Now there's 30 business coaching, different classes to take at that show. And I'm excited about that because I think anybody that's got the chutzpah to put themselves out there, anybody that is willing to stick their neck out there and chase after their dreams, whether they're new at it or whether they're just shifting careers and doing something different, I love. And so I'm excited that there's so many different voices out there and so many different people that are looking to break into this part of our industry. And I think COVID really accelerated that because it gave people a moment of pause to look at where they are and what they'd like to do differently with themselves. And online education really took a whole nother level of acceleration during the pandemic. So I think there's a lot of people out there bringing different messages, whether it comes from a level of experiential, or just dipping their toe in the water because they had a conceptual idea that they're looking to bring. I respect anybody that's willing to bring that. How can we take it into its future? I think hopefully with the message that I just brought of inclusivity and that everybody deserves a chance. And everybody should have a chance, whether they continue to pursue it long term or not. I think anybody that's willing to give of their heart and to bring an idea should have a chance to share that. I love seeing the expansion of business coaching in our industry because we all got different messages. We all have different, come from different walks of life. And having traveled all over the world as an educator, it doesn't matter what monetary system that we are living in, what culture that we're living in around the globe, or that we have a different way of looking at life based on where we were born.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, in our industry, to run a successful business in our industry, you need to know how to manage your money. You need to know how to market yourself. You need to know how to lead people. You need to continue to work on technique. You need to learn how to listen and consult guests and serve them at a high level. You need to know how to hire, recruit, and train people. So it's timeless and it's all the same everywhere we go. So, to me, I just want to continue to see people out there, bringing their message, the more the merrier.
I love that. You kind of spoke on something about leaving stuff behind, leaving things behind. I think that just generation or the newer generation of barbers and stylists and nail techs and makeup artists and estheticians out there, I think that they need to hear these stories and the harsh reality of what success actually looks like. Everybody wants to run a business, but nobody wants to run the business. So I
Amen to that.
appreciate that coaching and things like that as well, from
Hey,
you. But
thank you,
also, like,
Rodrick. If I can just quickly intercede, Leza needs to jump off. So any parting words, Leza, before you jump off for us?
I mean, I'm super, super grateful and excited, and I can't wait to hug you guys in Orlando. And I hope we had that beautiful picture that you were saying. And thank you for having me. I'm grateful. Nothing else I can say. And if I can jump back in, I will. Okay.
Well,
Awesome.
listen, if you do decide to jump back in, bring the volume. We don't want no smoke. Okay, bring the volume back because we're gonna need that.
Yeah,
All right,
I
but
will.
thank you so much for joining us. And if you can't hop back on, please do.
Yes.
Thank
But
you.
I
Thank you,
wanted
Leza.
Thank you. I wanted to spend a little time on this one and kind of unpack this because I think that we all have a very unique story. Jalia, reflecting on your journey, and I remember back in the day, you know, it's kind of funny, you know, Kia and I go back to when her dad was living, and I used to cut her son's hair, which loved that so much. Your dad was such an amazing man. And you and I go back to my cousin Tony actually doing graphics for you years ago in Colombia, and I didn't even know who you were, but he kind of you know kind of told me about
Crazy.
that. Yeah, it's been a
Crazy, all
while.
these connections.
But reflecting on your journey, what moments stand out as milestones for you that propelled you forward in your career? I personally believe that you cannot be ultimately successful without having some temporary defeats or some failure. So if you don't mind unpacking that for us, I would love to hear that. And then I want to jump into something with Kia real quick that's been kind of on my mind as I watch her journey as well. So if you don't mind, Jalia, help us out.
Okay. So I would have to say one of the biggest hurdles that I had to overcome was quitting my full-time job to pursue creative entrepreneurship. Everybody thought that I was crazy, and I mean, like friends and family alike. And I did that, and I've been a single parent. I have 3 kids, and when I did that, I relocated from Colombia to where I live now, which is Phoenix, Arizona. And I did that in 2012. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this for real. And it was hard. It was really, really hard. I remember hearing a lot of the naysaying from people who I thought were the individuals that were supposed to be supporting me. And it hurt, you know? So I made this huge leap, and then, you know, things didn't quite transpire the way that I thought. I'm like, did I make the wrong decision? So it was a lot of self-doubt that also came into play with that. And then at the same time, I kind of just had an aha moment, like, this isn't supposed to be easy. Like, who told you that this was going to be an easy feat? And when I kind of just sat in that and was like, you know what? I'm doing this for a bigger purpose, which is to build legacy for my children. And when I really started taking the time to kind of take what other people were saying and put that out of my mind, is when I felt like things started transitioning for me. Now, that doesn't mean that bad things didn't continue to happen. I felt like I had some stuff that was happening like every month for maybe like 3 or 4 years. I just could not catch a break. And I mean, honestly, if I really put it all out there, like, I will never forget when I went to Beacon. Like, I was going through a really, really tough time that nobody had any idea was taking place. But I knew that I needed to be there. I knew I needed to be present. I knew I needed to network. And I felt like because I pushed through, that really allowed me to take the steps that I needed. As Leza had mentioned, this is a second career for me. You know, I spent over 20 years in human resources and training and development with an emphasis in marketing. So, you know, I was the oldest person, I feel like, in the Beacon classroom back in 2015. So there were a lot of hurdles, and that doesn't mean the hurdles have stopped. I still have hurdles. I just handle them in a very, very different way now. I'm not so much as quick to have the clap back as I used to have. You know, I really take the time and kind of just digest and pray about it and write and listen to music. Sometimes I laugh, sometimes I cry, whatever I need to do to expel that, whatever that negativity is that I'm feeling, so that I don't continue to carry it, because that will physically make you sick being stressed out, you know?
Amen to
So
that.
I think for me, the biggest thing was just pushing through regardless of what was taking place. And those same individuals that were friends and family that were not taking what I did seriously, now they take it very seriously. I don't hear the negative as much as I used to from them anymore. They're like, oh, okay, she really is, pursuing this, entrepreneurship full time. So it was a leap of faith for sure.
I love that, in the fact that, through every trial, there's always going to be some type of revelation. We've all had our ups and downs and different things like that. But one thing that I can actually speak to is success through mentorship and collaboration. Because of the fact that I think that we have such a diverse, this year, especially a diverse population of nominees for Educator of the Year. Kia, I wanted to ask you, with your movement of texture versus race, which is really opened up so many doors for for barbers and stylists that are not people of color, but to also bring the educational component to that. How do you integrate and I guess kind of quarterback such diverse perspectives and experiences into your teaching?
Oh, that's a great question. Texture versus race is about elevating the industry as a whole, but sometimes people need a visual manifestation of what it's supposed to be or what it could be. And I think what I do well, which I'm really grateful to God for that, is that I am able to be that visual manifestation. So being able to work on all textures of hair, being able to sit in any place, or to be able to address anybody that sits in my chair, and be able to teach it with inclusivity in mind from the beginning. And I think that's one of the things I'm trying to button up in the industry and really talk more about, is that a lot of the curriculums and the movements and the efforts that people are making now still tend to put texture as an elective. It's still an add-on, and it's not necessarily from the beginning. And one of the things that I did in the inception of my own curriculum with color culture was to address texture from page one. It was to never separate the two. And I think that's what people need to hear mostly. Not that we have texture classes, but how does texture play into every part of what we learn and how we teach it? And so now my idea is, yeah, I can teach people how to do texture, right? Because that's great, and that's what we do. But how do we get to the teachers? And how do we create an idea for the educators to understand that no matter what they're teaching, texture and all textures, all fabrics have to be a part of the conversation at every step. And I think that's
awesome.
that's what the next is going to look like, right? Because we got to get back to the schools with it. But again, if the teachers aren't strong, neither will the students. So it won't even matter how much texture we include in the curriculum, how many advanced education classes we can offer. If the teachers are not diverse in mind, then they won't be diverse in educating either. And so I do, like I said, I thank God for being able to have that to always have wanted that, to see what it's like to do all textures and to have a fully expanded experience in the industry, which I think every single person in this industry deserves. So yeah, being able to teach it from day one.
You know
That's
what? I think
awesome.
that's awesome. I hear a lot of chatter from school and also from educators. They're like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to be doing this, so I'm not going to learn it." I think it's important for us to continue to push that envelope. Fortunately here, because of my background in education, my wife's background in education, we're pushing that meter every single day, but also making sure to encourage other schools to do that too. So, but thank you so much for your hard work and everything that
Can
you
I just
do.
tell you something real quick, too?
Sure.
Rodrick, I just wanted to add this on just so you could, carry on, is that when people say that to me, that I won't do it, you won't do it because no one thinks you can. So they're not looking for you. They're not checking for you. It's
Right.
not that there aren't Black people in your area. It's not that there aren't people with curls in your area. It's just that because that's not what you show. That's not your space. People know that also. So I love when people say, well, I'm not going to ever have to do it. Yes, you will. Because whatever you open up to is what will come to you. So that would be my
Right.
I'm so glad that you said that because, especially in our industry, based on demographic, people, you can't expect you out of other people, right? So when people make excuses instead of an effort, that'll show you exactly who those people are and where they want to be. But thank God for amazing mentors. And this is something that I want to bring across the board for all three of you all. Mentorship plays such a crucial role in our professional and personal development. Who are your mentors? And tell me three things that you really love about them. Let's start with you, Steve.
Um,
Your favorite mentor. I know we can't mention me, but your 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 favorite mentor, sir.
I'll talk for hours about you, bro. Anyway, one of my mentors, he wouldn't even know that he's a mentor of mine, and he's one of my dear friends. His name is Ward Bassett, and Ward owns Bassett Salon Solutions. He's out here in California, and he's a distributor of a lot of lines. He's the largest distributor of Davines in North America, and he is in 8 states, and he's got 12,000 salons that he serves. And Ward, we used to work for Maley's back in the day, and when John Maley sold that company, Ward then decided that he was going to take a leap and he was going to build his network. And he was the first Euphora distributor back in those days. He was just a pioneer, and he's always had a pioneering spirit. We golf every couple of months based on our schedules. Why he's a mentor to me, again, even though he wouldn't know that he's a mentor because I've never told him as such, because he's such a good friend of mine, is that part, one part right there. I think mentors are great friends. They're people that care about you. They give a damn at a high level, and they want the very best for you. And when I was going through my pancreatic cancer battle 2 years ago, my surgery was on Wednesday, July 27th. And Monday, the 25th, Ward and I went golfing, and my wife Nancy came with us, and she drove the cart, and was just out there with us to have fun. I played the worst round of golf in my life, probably because I had a little anxiety about what was going on in my world and what was going to happen to me 2 days later. I had a 5.5-hour surgery ahead of me, very intricate, good chance I was going to lose my spleen. All kinds of stuff going on, fighting for my life. And Ward gave Nancy and I a good time. We then went back to his house, and he has a beautiful backyard, and he has a hibachi grill, like when you go to Benihana. So he just hibachied for us, and we karaoke'd all night. And not once did he ask, how are you? Are you ready? Not once did he even bring up, and he knew what was going on. He just allowed Nancy and I to have a good time, to let our guard down for a minute, to laugh, to enjoy ourselves. That's a mentor to me, somebody that creates a safe space for you to be yourself. I've learned so much from how Ward runs his company. Anybody that knows Ward knows he's one of the best human beings in the business. The level of care and compassion he has for the people that work with him, for the salons and spas that he serves. He's just such a great example of being successful, but not letting it go to your head. That in and of itself is mentorship for me. And whenever I'm navigating something, he's somebody that I can get on the phone and kick the can around, and he gives me a unique perspective, a different perspective. And that makes a difference. And I like different perspectives because he's on a different part of the industry. He's in a different path than I am. And So for me, that makes a difference. And I think anybody out there listening, no matter what part of the industry you're in, seek different perspectives from other people that are in different parts of the industry that see the industry maybe differently. Like he's got a macro level. You're managing, 8 different states, 12,000 salons. And you've got people all over the place in multiple lines. That's just such a bigger picture than my brain can fathom. And, so to dial into that level of macro thinking, I always enjoy when I spend time with him. And I always make it a point to think of some questions that I could ask him just to pick his brain and to listen to how he relates to the industry and how he navigates it. So I think that's a great example of a mentor for me, creating a safe space, dialing into how they look at it. They're in a different walk of life, and it's good to engage that. That's what I love.
I love that. Jalia, same question, but a little bit shorter.
Sorry.
No. No. It wasn't like that. You know what?
Yeah, well, it's okay. We're educators. I pontificate.
No. As someone who really adores my mentor too, like I can talk about him for days. You know what I'm saying? So that was just a little joke. That's why
You're good,
asked
baby.
me to be here, Steve. Comic relief, of course, sir. But Jalia, same question. Your mentor, 3 things that you love about them.
So I'm not going to name them specifically.
That's fair.
Because I have, as Steve mentioned, I have mentors in my life that I feel like hold different purposes. So I'm very thankful for each of them because I feel like one cheers me on when I need to be cheered on, one prays for me when I feel like I'm down, and then one gives me a kick in the pants and then loves on me after they do all of that. So like, I feel like more than anything, I respect them. I respect everything that they do. I know they're going to be very real with me. They're not going to take my side. And I think sometimes when we look at mentors, like we should also be looking at the lifespan of that mentor. At some point, you need to graduate from being a mentor or a mentee. And I think that I've been in instances where I felt like, okay, the relationship between the mentor and the mentee has now come to a close. That doesn't mean that the friendship or relationship is no longer there, but our roles have now changed because I've gleaned as much as I could from you or vice versa. And now this portion of our relationship is coming to an end and it's time to move into something else. So I think that that's one key factor in knowing where you stand with your mentor or your mentee. But again, I appreciate the fact that each one does something different and pours into me in a different way.
I love that. And it's not about, making it a whole big fanfare or anything like that. But as I've known you 3 personally, but also watch as you've grown in the industry, not to get all like teary-eyed and nothing like that, but in each and every single way, all 3 of you have inspired me. I know that, coming from where I come from, you don't see a lot of people who look like me, who do what I do on that level, and all 3 of you do. And even though we don't get to speak as much as we probably should, like whether it be at a show or just in passing or whatever the case may be, virtually, I've learned so much from all 3 of you. And I just want to take this time to say I appreciate you all and thank you when it comes down to those things, because even though I may not say anything, I am watching because I think it's important to get perspective. I think it's important as an educator to really, take a little bit from everybody and build that into yourself. So I greatly appreciate all 3 of you. Ms. Kia Neal, as someone who has been mentoring so many people all across the country, who would you say is your mentor, and 3 things, or maybe just one thing that you really, really enjoy and love about that person?
All right, so I'm gonna make mine quick, but I am gonna be clear. So I think one of the biggest influences in my life was Mr. Joe L. Dudley from Dudley Cosmetology University. Of course,
Rest
he's
in peace.
standard for me. Rest well, Mr. Dudley. One of the things that I will share with you all is to kind of piggyback off of Jalia and just talking about that circle of influence, because sometimes you need people who actually create a level of guardrail for you. Like, right? So for me, it's like when I'm reading emails and texts, sometimes I need somebody to bounce some things off of and be like, sis, did I read this text a certain way? Like, did you read the energy? And they're like, no, I didn't read it like that. Or yes, handle yourself accordingly. And we all need that. We need people to keep us from jumping off of a cliff at any given time. But I also want to share that I have people in my life that do pray for me, people who keep me covered in these, in my life. And just as I'm circumventing and navigating some of these more complicated conversations, and just the emotional space and the emotional labor that goes along with it. So definitely making sure that you have people around you that can keep you prayed up. And another thing is I need people that create safe spaces for me, because sometimes I just need a place to share my thoughts. And to be quite honest with you, a lot of those people don't look like me. Like, I'm not always just talking to my skin folk. I talk to people who don't look like me that allow me to say exactly what I need to say. And let me tell you something, that is one of the most liberating things in the world, because it does let you know that when people have a heart for you and people care for you, that they will hold even the most toxic thoughts or feelings that you may have in any given moment and never use it against you. And you need people like that in your life. Just to bring it full circle, I do have one young lady. She's amazing in this industry. I don't know if y'all know Elizabeth Faye, but I love me some Elizabeth Faye. Elizabeth Faye shows me what it's going to look like to be a multifaceted, multi-dimensional, multi-entrepreneurship woman. Like, she does it all. She's a multi-enterprise by herself. And she was one of the people that spoke to me and told me that I didn't have to pick one. And she says, you can have it all. And she continuously shows it to me. And you know what else she does? She opens it up for me to see behind closed doors. She might not like that I said that, because she has a whole coaching business and everything, right? But she allows me to see what it looks like. I mean, in a space of being able to do more than one thing, and to lean into your spaces differently, but all together. I love that. And if I had to show anybody that mentors me that doesn't know me and doesn't know that I exist, it would be the likes of Tamika Mallory and Amanda Seals. If you don't know them, make sure you following them. There are some incredible women that are out here speaking truth to power, and they are very unapologetic about it. And they stand for what they stand for and stand on it every day, all day. And that's what I want people, when they think about them, I want to be thought of in that realm as someone who will always be a truth seeker and a truth teller. So yes, for mentorship.
I love that. I love that so much. I think mentors are people who definitely, to what Steve said, your friendship, people who hold you accountable, and also people that are willing to tell you when you're wrong, regardless of if you like it or not. I get text messages from my mentors sometimes, and one of my mentors, and he'll say something like, "You're not busy? Are you not busy?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "Well, you obviously aren't busy, because I don't see you posting the stuff that you and I talked about you need to post." So holding me accountable for not only my own successes, but the successes and the staples, the purpose of what I'm doing, making sure that I'm fulfilling my higher purpose when it comes down to that. So all of these are great, and man, I love this so much. But let's switch gears a little bit real quick as we're starting to wrap up, because of course, as nominees for Educators of the Year, and being one, myself, we got stuff to do. We got things that we need to accomplish today. So I want to go into this little realm called the hot seat. So in the hot seat, we're going to be asking some really amazing questions that are definitely directed towards education, but maybe a little bit off, so we can have some fun. But also, I think it's important for the people that are going to be seeing you all on stage in just a few weeks. They also know a little bit about you and what makes you tick outside of just being an amazing educator. So we'll start with the man himself, Steve Gomez. Steve, if you could cast a famous person to play you in a movie about your education career, who would it be and why?
Robert Downey Jr.,
Oh my gosh. Okay. Robert Downey Jr. All right. Paint the picture. Make it clear.
Because he is just so much himself and so much fun. Like whenever you see him in real life, like he's just so comedic and so comfortable in his own skin. But also vulnerable. I mean, you know, his life is lived out in the press because he's famous. But you know, he went through hell and back, and you know, he battled his demons and he's conquered them, and he continues to persevere and continues to give back and to do amazing things. And you know, when he won the SAG Awards, you know, he acknowledged everybody that made a difference in his life. And one person that he acknowledged is somebody that a lot of people do not like for the things that they've done. But that person was there for him at his lowest point, holding him up when nobody else would. And he had the courage to speak to it and acknowledge the positivity of who that person was for him. I have a lot of respect for that. So I would say him. You know, I like to have fun. I like to bring fun. I've been through a lot, and I love to give back, and I love to continue to work on myself. And I'm very conscious and present to that it all could be taken away in a moment, and all we have are these moments, and who are we going to be in these moments? So I would say him.
I love that. I love that. Kia, coming back to you. A couple of weeks ago during your Texture versus Race Summit, you guys had a hands-on portion of it as well. What's your reaction when one of your students insists that their hairstyle is giving, and you look at it like, could be a little bit better? How do you respond to those things? How do you respond to that?
I ask questions. I go, tell me what you love the most about this. And if you could do
So
anything,
nice.
but that's how I approach everything. That's why people don't know how to take me, because I definitely let you talk your own self into it, right? I'm like, so tell me what you love. What is it that you love the most about it? And then when they tell me what they love about it, then I start sharing like maybe what I think could lean into that to make it even more of what they're experiencing in that moment. I don't just kind of go, that's trash. Like I might say, is it the cut? I was like, okay, well, you love the cut. You love the shape. What if we made it a little bit more, did a little, I bet you we could take this to the next level. Like sometimes people just need you to lean into where they are too versus tearing them down, trying to give them something. So I love to make it very interactive. I love for people to know I'm on your side, but I am here to take you to the next level. And you should have asked me about who would play me, because I already know who I want to play me. Can I answer that too?
Well, listen. Well, go ahead with it then. Okay, so let me
Regina Hall. Regina
I love
Hall.
Regina.
Okay.
I love
Okay.
Regina.
I love Regina Hall.
She's comedy. She's serious.
Okay, hold on. What would be the name of your movie that Regina Hall plays as you?
You know what? It would be, give me a second. I want to come back to that because I got a good name, and I've already thought about it. It's gonna be I'm gonna come back. Go to Jalia, and I'm gonna decide whether I'm gonna share it because it's actually going to be the title of something. So let me.
You can't say it then if
I'm
you
not
haven't
gonna say it.
trademarked it yet.
I'm not
Don't
gonna
say
say
it.
it. I'm not gonna say it. I can't say it. But I know what it is, but I can't say it. But it's so good. And when you see
That's okay.
you're gonna go, that's what it was. That's what she meant.
That's okay. So we're gonna come back to you for that one. Is that cool?
That's cool.
Okay. Jalia, because I don't want no smoke from my girls from the Carolinas. Okay. Do you want the same question or you want something different? Let me know where we at.
So I don't know an actor that I would want to play me, but I know who I would want to direct it.
Ooh, that's different. Okay, paint the picture for us. Who would it be? A
Ava
movie starring
DuVernay.
you. Who would you want to direct that movie?
Ava DuVernay,
Ooh.
because she is a true storyteller. Like through and through, she is a storyteller, and she gets down to the meat and potatoes, down to the bone of whatever it is that she's working on. So she would be the one for sure. Sure.
That's so cool.
I love that.
Well, I'm just
Okay,
going to say thank you to Rodrick for being a host and being so great and gracious and just rolling with the punches the way you did today. Thank you for that.
Of course. Thank you guys so much for having me. I hope that everything is well. In closing, did anybody wanted to say anything? And what are you excited about as far as the award ceremony coming up? And we can close out with that.
I'll just say I'm excited to be in the same category with 4 amazing, powerful business women who are entrepreneurs, who are examples for our industry. I'm honored to be here with all of you. I'm excited. I can't wait to see everybody in Orlando. And I think it's so great that we get to educate while we're there. Just like when we all got nominated in Anaheim, we were so busy educating, like it didn't even sink in because I was so busy educating the whole weekend. And I think that's the coolest part of this whole thing is that, you know, we just keep we keep giving back, and thanks for spending time with all of us and for being willing to join and jump in and give back to our industry and continue to forge our friendships as a community. This was really cool.
I'll just say it's really an honor to just simply be, it's an honor to be honored, but more so by your peers and by an esteemed group of people, of our constituents in the industry to even acknowledge the work that we're doing, because it's such a it's a special space for educators. I think no matter what industry you are, like the educational space, we are shaping and molding what is and what is to come. So just having this space to be able to again be with all of you is an honor. Being nominated last year was an honor. It didn't matter who won last year. To be honest with you, I felt like there was no loss with any winner. And I feel that way this year too, because I think they did a great job of really pointing out people who are making a difference in the industry. And I'm just glad to be in the numbers. Looking forward to seeing you all and being able to do some things together sometime.
In closing, I just want to say thank you for inviting me to be a part of this conversation. I'm thankful to be nominated, honestly, and to be nominated with all of the other finalists. It's a blessing, to feel like you've come to that moment to receive this type of recognition in your career. It just lets you know that the work that you're doing is not in vain. So I'm just very proud and very, very proud and very humbled all at the same time to be in that number. So I'm very thankful and looking forward to Orlando. I know we have a theme this year. We were talking about what we're going to wear. So looking forward to seeing what everybody is going to come with for the fashions as well. Because I'm not playing no games with y'all. I'm telling you in advance.
Boy.
All right.
I'm already
love it.
second fiddle to Rodrick. I'm already second fiddle. There's no doubt about that.
So Steve,
Man,
listen, I'm gonna send you what you need to wear. I already got your sizes. All right. You're 46 long. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I know that you lost a little bit of weight, but we're gonna get that. You're 34, 32 inseam, sir. I got you.
I love your commitment to me living in the 34s.
Well, I don't want to tell what the real size is. There's a couple things we just don't do here.
Nice.
But again, thank you guys so much. And I just wanted to say one thing, if I can end out with this, is resilience. I've watched everybody on this video grow and show that resilience, whether it be sickness, whether it be death, whether it be just having some challenges throughout life with kids and being a grandparent now and all those things. Are just amazing to watch everybody just super succeed. But thank you guys so much for spending some time with me and allowing me to host. And I can't wait to see you all and give everybody a big hug. And do not let anybody downplay this accomplishment because people hate you because they ain't you. And that's me. That's all day. That's all I got to say. They hate you because they ain't you. So on behalf of all of my guests, thank you guys so much. Be blessed, and we'll see you at NAHA 2024. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.